What's the libation today, Bill?
Well, I decided to bring a fine Kentucky bourbon. It's from Willits, something I discovered while I was researching the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. 18 different distilleries which you get to visit. I'm planning my next vacation.
There's a Kentucky Bourbon Trail?
Yes, there is.
Interesting. Like if your wagon breaks down on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, is it fair to eat as many people as you need to survive to the next distillery?
I think that, or you just go to the Waffle House.
Well, I like waffles.
There you go.
And this is Lubricated by Libations, where Lewis provides me and Bill with something inspirational. It could be an item, a picture, a quote, anything random and run-of-the-mill, but never something from anything published for Dungeons & Dragons or other role-playing games. From that item, me and Bill will craft an adventure.
We don't know what the item is going to be. We will be crafting an adventure on the fly to prove that inspiration can be found from anywheres. All you have to do is let your imagination wander.
To aid us in our inspiration, Bill will be providing us with an adult beverage of his choosing. None of us are driving home tonight. Please, when you consume alcoholic beverages, do so responsibly. Do not drive after consuming alcoholic beverages. Call a cab, a Lyft, or a friend or loved one. And if you are under the legal drinking age, no matter where you are, please do not consume alcohol at all.
Lou, what's our inspiration?
For tonight, I thought our inspiration would be this fine bottle with this fine liquid inside.
He took the easy way out.
That's not an easy way.
No, that's easy.
Okay, it's easy.
But that's okay. It's a fine-looking bottle. We'll make it work.
Fine-looking bottle.
It is. And it's our inspiration for this evening, so I figured we'd give it a go.
Well, before we do, I'm taking a sip.
And I
Shall we all?
Yes,
Yeah.
we shall.
There'll be a momentary pause here while we imbibe.
Well, we get lubricated.
That's not too bad.
Firewater.
Nice little bite in the front and mellows out as you go.
That's actually very good.
Tickles my nose.
I haven't tried this one yet. Like I said, I was researching the Bourbon Trail, and this is not necessarily one of the 18 listed on the Bourbon Trail, but it's actually along the way. And I went, well, how dare them leave them out? I'm going to go buy a bottle.
Very enjoyable.
I like it. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Dungeon Masters Dojo podcast. This is a show for game masters and players alike. We hope to bring you tips and tricks to elevate your game and develop the art of dungeon mastery. I'm your host, Louis Aponte, and these are your dungeon masters, Scott Labby and Bill Robotile. Let's enter the dojo and see what they have in store for us today. Hey, Bill. Hey, Scott. How's it going?
Good.
Fine liquor.
Yeah.
It is.
And we're drinking responsibly, which is important.
That's what you always do.
Absolutely.
And if worst comes to worst, there are 2 other futons in the house. So
We'll be putting those to good use tonight.
You'll have to put them both together so I can sleep. I don't know where Lou's going, on top of the pool table, underneath the gaming table.
There's more than enough room down here in the what do we call this? The ante room before we get to the Lyceum.
That would be it. Yeah.
Yes.
I could put a cot in the Lyceum.
Yeah.
Do some studying.
Well, you're not going to study.
Maybe a little bit.
No.
Maybe not.
He's going to flip through the books looking for dirty pictures.
There's no National Geographics in there.
Sorry, it's all crudely done, pencil sketching.
You guys are dating yourself.
Well,
Yeah, like we haven't done that a gazillion times by this point. All right, so our inspiration's a bottle sitting out in front of us. This is a finely crafted piece of glassware with a very wide base coming to a little bulb at the top of that, and then a long fluted shaft there. So we're
take the cork out of the top.
okay. Hang on.
I rub it 3 times and see if a genie comes out.
It is that shape, isn't
I'm
it?
hoping more for Barbara Eden than
Dun, dun,
yeah
dun, dun, dun,
than
dun,
Will
dun,
Smith.
dun, dun.
With my luck, I'll get Will Smith.
Yes, it does have that shape. Yes, so it's a fine piece of glassware. So where are we going to start? We're going to put an adventure around this. So do we start it at the glass blower's place, or do we start it at the distillery? I'm inclined to start at the distillery.
I think that'd be a good spot to start myself.
So what is a bottle like this going to contain?
A bottle like this most oftenly back in this shape bottle was very, very popular because they're difficult to knock over and very easy to make. So they would hold oils, vinegars, perfumes, anything really, because they make them different sizes. I mean, obviously this is a 750 ml. This is a big one.
Have you ever heard of Madame Batlery?
Madame Batlery? I do not believe.
Or Bathlery. It's one of those. She was actually arguably the inspiration for Dracula. She was a duchess or a baroness who, well, she was nuts, but she wanted to look young, so she would bathe in the blood of her female virgin servants, and that was supposed to be her key to youth. And I mean, it didn't work.
I hope not.
And people got really pissed off that she was insanguinating the local virgins and bathing in their blood. So she ended up, I think they killed her, or she was imprisoned, or both. But what if that was a bottle, a finely crafted bottle containing like the life essence of young people, and it was on its way to a particular baron, baroness, lord, or lady, or whoever, and that was supposed to last them throughout the year to keep their vibrant youth, and so they can hold their power, but something happened to it along the way.
Well, let's not get too big. Let's start small. What kind of mill would have produced that essence?
What kind of mill?
Extraction, some form of extraction.
I would say an alchemy lab if you want to go tropey, an alchemy lab in a wizard's tower, some hunched over.
That's too easy.
What do you think?
I'm thinking a little hamlet, half dozen buildings, 6 families along a river, and there's 3 mills, big water wheels on this fairly smooth, running big stream, small river, each one milling something a little different. To the passerby, it would seem that, maybe it's a blacksmith shop. They use it to drive their hammers and their forges. Another one maybe to a grist mill, and maybe another one a wood mill. But what if one of them produced the glass, this beautiful bottle, and then the next one was how they extracted the essence?
So an entire village dedicated to keeping this one lord or lady, baron or baroness alive. And so they have these fine craftsmen, right? So you're not just a glass blower. You're not like,
no, you're
Beth, the glass blower. You're
not going to keep someone's life essence in a Budweiser bottle.
Right.
It's got to be fine crafted glassware,
so
crystal.
A master crafts person.
Yes.
And so they're blowing the glass for these bottles, right? Because they're not refillable. It's not like bringing your...
there's no 5-cent return on the bottles when you bring them back. The Baron shows up with a cart full of empty bottles.
And then just refill them, right?
Yeah, here's my 6-pack, and I get my 30 cents.
Squeeze some more children's life essence into this
Pepsi bottle. I'll wait in the waiting room.
I rinsed it. Yeah, it's not like bringing your growler back to Treehouse Brewery or wherever and having it refilled. Yeah. So they make these wonderful glass bottles that look like our Kentucky bourbon. Maybe even down to the seemingly wax seal on it, which is probably some enchanted metal stamped with whoever the master crafts person's name or symbol is.
Well, you have to be able to keep track of it and possibly track it. If it goes errant, someone finds out about it, you need a specific item to do locate object, especially if you're dealing with distances. And if it was magic, that would probably enhance it. So a little wax seal on it that just looks like a wax seal is actually a magical stamp that it could be tracked and located if necessary, and may even be an alert to the craftsman that, hey, this bottle's almost empty. I better let the next mill know.
Which is great, because I have an idea for that, and that's going to come in later. But let's talk about how we're going to get all of that essence of person in there, right? So you're not going to want to squeeze the life essence out of like a senior citizen.
No.
Nobody wants our life essence.
No.
Bill,
we barely want our own.
There's barely enough to keep us going every day.
Which is why we're imbibing.
Right.
This is how we keep the tank semi-full.
You're gonna want the life essence of someone young and vibrant, right? Because that's gonna keep you young when you drink their life essence. So you're gonna wanna be using young people.
But you don't want to be killing them, because you're in a little hamlet out in the middle of nowheres. Because this is not the type of thing you want to set up in a city.
No, because
it's way too easy to be discovered.
Yeah.
So you're off the beaten path. So it's not like you can harvest the children. You don't want to be doing that. So do we harvest their emotion, their glee, their terror? Maybe there's different flavors.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe there is. Maybe there's
happiness and joy gives them a certain sense, but terror gives them, courage, and
it's the difference between bourbon and scotch.
Yes.
And if you've been doing this for a really long time, right? If you've been drinking the essence of other individuals, then you'd get bored with the same old stuff. You'd want
a different experience,
different effects. So you would have extraction for different things. It would actually be quite horrific, I would imagine.
I would think so as well.
Where there would be, in one area, children playing and eating candy and, going on picnics and stuff like that. In another room, all sorts of, like jumping out of the closet going, boo, probably worse than that. And then the essence extracted and placed in these fancy bottles.
But how would you capture that essence?
Artificers. Maybe there is a a rogue artificer that was, for some reason, kind of attracted to the money.
Well, how about an artificer who tried to, in a way, to get your Warforged or something along those lines, get more essence into the Warforged so it's more lifelike and more autonomous, and somehow it just didn't work for that, but that process that he discovered, that he invented, had side effects.
What do you do afterwards?
Yeah,
right?
I was able to extract the essence, but there's no way I can put it into something that already has sentience. But if here it is in its raw form, I can't put it into a Warforge. I can't put it into a construct. The only thing it seems to be able to bond with is something that's completely living already.
It's military science used for civilian purposes now, since it wasn't viable military
as
science.
As opposed to the other way around.
So you got this extraction mill. You're producing these items for this lord or lady. And then naturally you would ship it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what if during the shipping process something happened? You had an ambush at the hand of bandits
who didn't really know what they were getting themselves into.
So now they think, now I've got this this bottle of this fancy looking liquor, and we haven't been able to like pop the lid off because it's magically sealed. And then along comes your adventuring party on their way somewhere, to their next adventure, and they get bushwhacked by bandits, and they best the bandits, and now they've got this fancy bottle of something
that they can't open.
So it's valuable, and they got it, so maybe they just continue on their way. But, as you pointed out, right, there's that magical seal, which allows them to be tracked. So your shipment never made it to where it was supposed to. So now you got this pissed off lord or lady that's, waiting for her medieval Botox treatment, and it hasn't come. and she's sent a formal complaint, which could be quite dangerous to whoever these people are, right? Because my youth juice never made it.
And these are the people that, this entire Hamlet exists at the beck and call of the Baron and his lady. So if they get upset with you, no money shows up. In comes their militia to find out why her youth juice hasn't shown up.
Right. So the one guy that sits around and does nothing all day in the village of Hamlet finally has a job to do, and it's his job to go out and get the bottles if they get lost. So maybe he's got some big bad hunting dogs or whatever have you, and now they have a pursuer.
I like it so far.
So would their pursuer be the big bad? Perhaps just for this particular leg of the adventure? He would be
like I said, he's the one that sits around and does nothing and still gets paid. So there's a reason he's on retainer.
Yeah, he's being paid not for what he does, but for what he might have to do.
For what he might have to do. So, yeah, I could see this being your big bad. This would be your 9th to 12th level barbarian with shape change, with his pack that travels with him.
Yeah, he's got to be, or she, they have to be special.
Yes.
Right? Because you wouldn't have a level 1 fighter on a retainer to go get your magic bottle.
No.
So he'd have to be someone, or she would have to be someone that's
very
formidable.
A very particular skill set.
Yes, unique.
So, yeah, and tracking, obviously, that's what they have to do. So whether it's a ranger or a barbarian, something along those lines, and he has his 3 hounds with him, and off they go looking for it.
So your big bad.
Yep. I like the ranger idea.
Yep. Male or female?
Female.
Female?
Yep.
Just hunting dogs, or are we going to do something special?
No. 3 hounds. One's a wolf. One is a hound of some kind, easily as big as the wolf. Third is canine-like, but no distinguishable breed, but looks nastier than the other 2.
What if that's a werewolf?
That's what I was thinking. Something along the lines of something that's been imbued with a fair amount of lycanthropy.
Yep. So you got a werewolf, you got a dire wolf,
which is your wolf,
and then your
hound, which it actually could be a hellhound in a polymorph form. And there's a variety of hounds out there.
What if this hound was Robert Pattinson on page 24 of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything? What if it was the path of the beast, primal path, barbarian, but chose to take on that hound, that mastiff form as its primary form, and then
the human
form as secondary.
There you go.
And there we have the trio of kind of nemesis that our big bad would set upon
Canis,
the party.
Screw you uppus.
Yeah. That's Latin for dangerous dogs, folks.
So there you go. And then their handler.
Right. Their handler, what race would she be, or would it even really matter? I'm leaning
I don't think
towards
it really matter.
half orc.
Half orc would be really cool.
Like a tall,
because that way it's
curvy,
the intimidation factor there with the race. Then you have the allure of the female form as well, where you can play that in a number for role playing purposes. You have a lot of options there.
I'm thinking someone who looks similar to the Mandalorian's buddy there. What's her name? She's got that big ass gun. She's awesome. She's the MMA fighter.
Oh yeah.
What is her name?
I don't know, but yeah.
I love her character. But someone like that, someone who's very formed. Once you look at her, there's no question in your mind that she is formidable.
If I say the wrong thing, I'm going to get beat down.
Yeah.
Just because. Yes.
And maybe she's maybe she's got something special about her where she can run just as fast on 2 legs as her 4-legged companions can. So she's kind of in the pack herself.
Well, pack leader.
Yeah, so she's running on,
but she's a
on
member
2
of the
legs.
pack.
Yep. I like the ranger idea. That's great because that tracking's going to want to come in. Maybe some druidic ability.
Well, you figure you do a fair amount of levels in your, at least a minimum 4 in ranger, so you have all your tracking abilities and things like that. Throw a couple levels of maybe warlock in there, so you can have some spell casting abilities, or go straight out mage or sorcerer. Sorcerer would probably work better. But warlock or sorcerer, just levels in there as well. So now you have the brute force out there already, just in your pack as well as yourself. But now you're going to need magic abilities because there's almost always going to be a caster there. So you have to be able to cast one-on-one. Sorcerer is a good way to go. Warlock, I think in this case, warlock or sorcerer would probably be a 50-50 split for me on spell casting. Lou?
I was thinking for Ranger, either a Gloomstalker or Horizon Walker.
Yeah, both of those options would be great.
Yep.
Yeah, good call.
So we've got our party.
Well, we have our big bad
and her minions and kind of the adventure hook.
Yep.
So some encounters. Well, the first one naturally would be with the bandits.
Yes.
And then I think an NPC encounter would be important so that they can get a little bit of the lore from the area. Like maybe they're at a fork in the road and, a trader comes up. He's got his wagon, drawn by his 2 oxen. He's got all sorts of pots and pans and shit clanking around, baskets of apples and the whatnot. And they're at this fork in the road, and he tells them, don't go down that way. Go the way I just came. And, the party's like, why? And he's like, that's a bad place down there. You don't want to have anything to do with that town. You're not going to be able to stay there. And even if they do let you stay there, y'all are too young to be staying there safely. Drop a couple little kind of hints, don't go down that way. I hear young people that go there don't come back.
The only people that go through there are the elderly, because no one cares about the elderly.
Yep. And he goes on his way down the road they came. So if your party goes the way they were, told to go, then you can have a couple more encounters that give you a little more details. If not, if you're using this idea and your party is anything like our party, they're going to go in the opposite direction. They're going to be like, fuck it, I'm going to do whatever I want.
Yep. You can't tell me what to do.
You're not the boss of me,
not the boss of
DM.
me. Yep.
I don't care what you just warned. We're willing to sacrifice one of our number. So
as if we don't already know that.
So if they go down there, they're delivering that bottle back.
Yes.
So now what you have is an opportunity for them to. It'll be a while before the hunter comes back looking for them,
and the town's not equipped to hold them because that's the hunter's job.
That's
so
the
now
hunter's job.
Now they stall them.
They're too busy squeezing joy and terror out of children. But the party will stay at an inn, and the party's probably going to be young enough, so it's we can get a little something out of them. I mean, there's a bard or whatever.
Maybe we're ready to try a new flavor.
Yeah,
and these guys look young enough where we can get something out of them, but just the raw power that emanates from them.
Yeah, I bet murder hobo tastes great.
Well, that's our group.
Yeah. So in the most groups will be like, nah, you know what? The DM dropped an NPC that's warned us away from a potentially dangerous area. Most players will be like, I'm going to stay away. Not ours.
Not ours. Nope.
And maybe you have a group like ours out there, and if you do, I'm sorry. I feel your pain.
Repeatedly.
But now they're in this little hamlet, and they're like, oh, what's so bad about this? It's nice. It's country setting.
What's this beautiful crystal thing on the wall in my room?
Yeah.
That's what we call the dream catcher.
Yeah. Everything looks nice here.
Yeah.
And
they spoil the crap out of them.
Yeah. And in the middle of the night, they hear children laughing, and then they hear children crying. And then they hear children screaming bloody murder, and they're like, what is going on here? and maybe they're bushwhacked in the middle of the night by some villagers, a blanket's thrown over them, and they're soundly, beaten with sticks and broom handles and the whatnot. And
or one of the party members.
One of the party members
is gathered up and carted away and locked into the cellar of one of the mills.
Yeah, especially if it's
extraction.
like a halfling and they're like, oh, they got a kid. Let's grab it.
It's damn ugly and furry as hell, but it's still a kid.
Yeah, so now they gotta find this their halfling companion or their really youthful looking. Maybe there's an elf there and they're like, ooh, we can get some good stuff out of an elf. They're young forever.
Yeah. Not old forever.
Right.
They're always young forever.
Yeah. So now the party like is ready to leave in the morning, and it's like, where's Sweetleaf, the our elven archer? She was just here last night. All 22 years of her. And now they're like, hey, we're gonna squeeze a bunch of stuff out of this elf. They live for a long time.
All her stuff's gone. Oh yeah, she left in the middle of the night. She said she was gonna go hunting.
Yeah. And that's it's like, that's weird.
She went that way. Have a nice travel. I'm sure you'll find her.
So our party's got, these weird things going on. One of them's missing. That's just if they go down, the road they're told not to, which I always plan for them to do.
Yeah.
It's like, they're not going to listen to me.
Well, that's our group, yeah.
They're like, hey, there's a dragon down there. Don't go down there because everybody that goes down there gets killed by the dragon. Hey, guys, you want to go see the dragon? I've never seen a dragon before.
Challenge accepted.
Yep.
Little sign on the side of the road. You must be this tall to see the dragon.
Yeah. So now they got to find their missing party member.
Yep. Which stalls the group even longer.
Even longer. So while they're searching, maybe they even find her.
I want to know what happens when they go, hey, you look around and there's some glassware around here that looks really, really finely crafted. I mean, this glass blower is not going to just make a bottle once a month.
Yeah.
He's going to make stuff he can export, make, hey, a little bling on the side, this essential items for the people in the Hamlet.
Maybe there's that seal on it.
Maybe, there could be a worn, scratched off seal off a bottle or two, but similar enough where they go, hey, maybe we should show them and ask them if they know what's this about and what, how much it's worth. And it looks really similar.
Yep. Which they may do.
Mm-hmm.
And if they had cast Detect Magic on it, they know it had some magical properties.
Oh, absolutely.
Or maybe they're off looking for the glass blower now because it's like, oh, that's our glass blower seal. Or maybe that seal is hanging on a sign over the glass blower
right out
shop.
front of the glass blower shop.
Yeah.
And see if anyone remembers that that's the seal on the bottle.
Right. So now they're calling up this hunter person. They're like, hey, the bottle's back in town, but a bunch of murder hobos have it. And
they won't go anywhere really fast because we got one of their kids.
Tastes good. It's like a blush or it's like that the peach Melba wine coolers.
Ooh, a Zinfandel.
Yeah, a Zinfandel. Nice and tasty and fruity and light, like a pink Moscato. And now you have that character that's in there, and now they need to escape, but they don't have anything but the clothes on their back.
Mm-hmm. And all their stuff has been absconded and hidden somewhere.
And now they're strapped down to a table. And I see it kind of like, do you see the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance?
Yes.
I see it kind of like that. They have this big extraction machine, and Mark Hamill's in the background cackling, because he's sucking all the life force out of the children. That kind of thing. It's this big, ugly machine that once you look at it, you know exactly what it's for. Maybe not exactly what it's for, but it's there for nefarious purposes.
It's there for not good reason.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt. No matter what it does, it's going to hurt.
It's not a tickle machine.
No, it's going to hurt.
And so now you got your PCs looking for this person. This person's got to try to plan an escape. You build up a little tension, strapping them down. And maybe when it all comes to a head where they escape, and they're fighting with, whoever the bad guys are there, that artificer that, built the Warforged and then try to juice them up with real people, and a couple of his lab assistants, the party can bust in to execute an escape. And just as they're
you said
there,
execute. The first thing I thought of was our party. Execute the artificer.
Yeah. Well, that's going to happen if your party's anything like our party, they're killing everything on sight. even, you're lucky if that apple vendor that told him not to go that way wasn't murdered and for an apple.
Along with his burro that was hauling him too.
Yeah, and eaten. Not the driver, but, whatever the beasts of burden are.
Yep.
And that's when the hunter, she comes back. She's like, oh, they're back in town? They're in a basement? Cool, let's get them there. There's only one way in and one way out. Support the Dungeon Masters Dojo by heading over to Apple Podcasts and Podchaser and leave a review. Take the time to leave a comment as well. This helps make us more searchable to those listeners interested in content such as ours. But more importantly, we want to know how we are doing and what topics you would like to hear about.
Another way you can support the DMD is by buying the DMD a beer, so we can continue to deliver quality content to you, our listeners. This also helps us upgrade and replace equipment. Head over to buymeacoffee.com/the-DMD and buy us a beer, or 3, or 5. Don't forget to say something nice or mean. We don't care. You're buying us a beer.
And we are back from our break, and yes,
I think I'll take another one too.
Would
please.
you like to? Yeah,
time for a refill.
Slight refills here. Just a moment. We'll be with you momentarily. I had to pour 3 times. And there you go, Mr. Scott.
Thank you very much. Kind of like the sound of a middle-aged man trying to urinate.
And we're moving on.
All right, so the big bad has come back. She's there with her pack. They've just got. They probably had a little bit of a tiff with our artificer, who I'm sure is no slouch by any means.
Right, no doubt. So they're a little worn.
His defender rolls in along with everything else and kind of adds to the fray.
Maybe he's got a Warforged with him. He
might have that too.
A veteran from whatever Warforged war there was.
Yep.
Maybe a special Warforged, someone that had a little bit of juice still in him,
Yeah. Well, he would have been the experimental person
right.
that volunteered for it, and it didn't quite work, but not quite work, still better than not working at all.
And maybe that Warforged needs a little top off every now and again.
That's it, just to maintain.
Yep.
That was the downside. You burn out too quick if you don't have a constant supply.
So he gets a little bit of that stuff, kind of like white chocolate, or white chocolate isn't true chocolate, but it's a lot of the runoff from the chocolate making process.
Yep.
So he gets some of that, and nobody really questions it because all the good stuff's going to
where it needs to go.
Yeah. So we got our adventure, we've got our big bad, we got some key NPCs, we even know where this is taking place.
Yep.
We got the little village. As far as what campaign setting, really it could go into any one.
Oh yeah, it's transplantable.
You want to put it in your homebrew setting, go for it. You want to go Eberron or Mystara even or Faerun, knock yourself out.
That's the beauty of starting small like this.
It is.
A little Hamlet, because it's a postage stamp.
Yep. Nondescript.
Just give it a lick and pop it wherever you need to.
Yep.
And you're right. It's nondescript. You don't even have to get. What's the name of the Hamlet? It's a Hamlet. It's not a town. It's a Hamlet. It's 6. There's no name.
Yeah, and someone's always going to ask, right? They can spend the whole night listening to laughing, crying, and terrorize children. And when they get up in the morning, are they going to question any of that? Not our players. They're going to be like, hey, what's the name of this place? Like, really?
Really?
What about the
screaming
cries
children?
Of terror in the no, but what's the name?
Those were just dreams. What's the name of this place?
We don't give a shit about those. We're murder hobos. We don't care. We're going to kill them anyway. What PCs, what classes do you think would fit with this adventure? I mean, really any of them, but you want to...
Well, it depends on whether we're going to assume since it's a small town and you already have adventure, if you want to start from scratch, you can start from scratch. You wouldn't want to divulge any of this during session 0, obviously.
Right.
But if you're starting off at first or second level, you're going to have to scale it back. Your 9th to 12th level ranger is going to be way overpowered. Your artificer is going to be way overpowered. Your warforged is going to be way overpowered. So this is I think you're looking at 3rd, 4th level, a party of 3rd, 4th level where they can put their skills together and still be able to defeat these individuals.
Yep.
But it's going to be difficult. They're going to have to use all their skills, all their magic, and work together. So I think that 4th, 5th, 6th to 8th would be relatively easy. You might have to buff it up, throw another Warforged in there, maybe another pack member on the Rangers crew. So you can scale it either way and still do it pretty effectively. But I think anywhere between 3rd to 5th is a pretty good place, depending on the size of the party.
Yeah.
With an average of 6, probably 4th, 5th is a good spot for this type adventure.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one. I think you hit that level right on the nose. And really any class, I think.
Yeah, I don't think class is going to be all that difficult, because this is an adventure that you're dealing with your Warforged, you're dealing with your Artificer, you're dealing with townsfolks. Then you're dealing with lycanthropy, a ranger, spellcaster, as well as natural attacks from the other animals. So you have such a buffet line of damage that you can do to them. There's going to be more than enough for them to come up with some kind of counterance.
Yep. So we got our what? We got 4 encounters, and
that's if they go down this directly to the town.
Right.
I mean, if they go the other way, they go, all right, well, don't go that way. All right, we won't go that way. It's really easy to either divert them back, which is kind of what you want to do. So eventually they're going to try to pawn the glassware, going, oh, no, I'm sorry, we can't take that. What? Well, that's a special glassware, and it really needs to be returned. You need to go this way.
I'm not taking it. You need to bring it back there, and don't tell anybody that you even saw me.
Yes.
I'll see you later. Nope, bye. And it is, really, I think you want them to go to that village to kind of solve the mystery. And I think with 4 or 5 encounters is what we're looking at here. That's a decent evening of play for a good, 4-hour game session.
Oh, absolutely.
And really, this is the only thing, really, that's all you really want it to be right now, is just an evening of gameplay.
It's an evening gameplay. It's one adventure.
Right.
It's one adventure. And that's what we were told to build. We told build an adventure around this item. Well,
and
there's the item.
It's a filler, right? So if you got a long-running campaign, right, Bill, and you got now we're on our way to our next leg of our journey. Maybe I don't really have anything as fleshed out as well as I would like it.
Yep.
I could plop this in there, and it's a nice little diversion, and it could always be something bigger. Now I know if we send our group, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you'll agree, especially if Lou's at the table. Once everybody's defeated, right? Lou's going to find out that he can squeeze the life essence out of all of these children, and now he's like, I'm in charge here.
This is now called Louville.
Yeah, and I'm going to hack up. I'm going to jack up the prices on all this. So if you want your youth juice, you're going to need to pay 10 times that amount of money, because it's not easy squeezing the life essence out of a squirming child. So beware your players, because
they may decide to go, this is now our Hamlet.
They are heroes until they hear the cha-ching of platinum coins falling in their coin purse.
I was just thinking the same thing.
And you want to go back to a couple of DM Bill's quick tips. One of them, I'm sure, is knowing your players. I think that was a recent one you recorded. And that's why that's important, right?
That's why it's important.
So you're going to have to build in some, like in our case, we always build in some loo-proofing.
Yes.
On some things. And
in this particular instance that you just rolled out, the bottle is missing. It hasn't shown up. A word of disfavor has been sent back to the town. A reply has not come back in a timely fashion. So as your party decides, we're going to take this place over. Over the hillside comes a marching army.
Well, there's that militia.
Here is the militia coming, sent by Lady, oh my God, my face is melting, saying, I need my juice, and you're going to go get it now. And if they don't have any, you're going to make them make more now. And here's this army coming over the hillside. As the party looks at each other and goes, all right, maybe we're not going to take this place over.
But that's a great place to call your game session for the evening, right?
Absolutely.
You leave it on that cliffhanger where now that small company or battalion or whatever of soldiers she sent you see them just come up over the hill. Like the Rohirrim right before they charge
Look
down.
to the east.
Yeah. So now you see all these horses and riders, and now if that doesn't get your party thinking we need to beat feet, or well, in our party's case, we need to steal someone's horses and make a break for it, then
did it kill them all yet?
Yeah,
we may have to share.
That's the other thing.
Lou set the barn on fire.
Someone's going to be riding bitch on Lou's horse.
Yeah, that's where you stop it and give it, because there's an opportunity to further this. If they went, that was awesome. What's going to happen next? We want to play. All right, we're going to watch and see what happens. All right, let them hang around. Be prepared to write something just in case they want to continue this. And if you had a good time, I'm sure as a game master, you had a good time. You see your players had a good time. It's going to inspire you to write some more just in case. Even if it is 2 months later down the road when you have that little pause, that little stay, and say, you know something, let's throw part 2 at them. And you've had your stopping spot. When last we met, you'll remember that and give them a little recap, and then you're ready to go.
And that's Lubricated by Libations. Every year, crashes involving alcohol-impaired drivers will kill more than 11,000 people. If you're drinking, designate a non-drinking driver before you start. Call a cab or get a ride home. Never let your friends drink and drive. We'll see you next week in the dojo. That's going to conclude this episode. Thanks for tuning in and listening. Please subscribe to the podcast for more great content. If you'd like to hear a particular topic, you can reach us on Facebook at the Dungeon Masters Dojo, or you can drop us an email at thedungeonmastersdojo@gmail.com. Thank you, and have a good day.